Hey, ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, are you still involved? Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still involved? Y'all usually check on me. Listen, 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 listen. I'm still involved. Hey! Woo, portion of my portion. Hey! I'm still involved. Oh! I'm still involved.
Yeah.
Man, we still the boys.
Oh, I love it. That's how you come in.
What's up, Jim?
I love it.
How you living, feeling, man? Nobody texting me, paging me, asking me.
Oh man, I need that in my life, boy. Man, I wondered what you was gonna come with, man. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. I thought you were coming with that Wiz, man, but that's the one right there for the day. That's the one.
Man.
That's the one.
Miss Davis say, "Where my blessed oil at?"
Shout out to Miss Diva. Good morning. Good morning.
Crazy, boy.
Oh my Lord. I love it.
All right, man. We got a good show for y'all lined up, man. I know, man, usually go before the show, but this is a post show. My dumb behind thought we was playing today. But anyway, man, gentlemen, how you feeling, Joey? Darren, what's up, man? Talk to me.
Good morning, gents. Good morning. Happy New Year's Eve. Getting ready to close out this 23 and get to this 24. But man, what a way for the Cowboys to close out their 23 yesterday, man. In prime time. Incredible.
Prime time. No Deion Sanders. JC, how you feeling?
Man, I'm good. As you can see, I have completely surrendered in my ongoing battle with my hair. I'm wearing a hat today, but my blitzkrieg against my liver continues in earnest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Glad to be here, boys. Big win last night. I'll take it by 1 or by 20, man. I'm good with it.
No doubt. No doubt.
No doubt, man. Let's get into the meaty potatoes of it, man. As we know, the controversial call. Let's address the elephant in the room. As we know, with the illegal touching being called on the lineman who didn't report, we can't call it. Gentlemen, your thoughts about that, and then we'll actually unpack the game, but let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. D Brown, I'll let you kick it off first.
Man, so it's funny to me, and I mean this. It's really funny to me, the energy that this call generated for the non-fan, right? Predictable, because as we often and correctly reference, the Cowboys drive the bus when it comes to interest, right? Mm-hmm. And the end of that game was as crazy as, I don't know if you could script that, man. That was nuts. But the call itself, man, for everybody that's this pretend caring for how Detroit got screwed, and that includes the national media, because I watched quite a bit of it from the Scott Van Pelts, who could not let it go, by the way, and I'm sure others will see tomorrow and probably on some of the talk shows this morning, throughout the day. Man, I don't care. Y'all would basically, just go to hell with the, with the fake concern. Man, bad calls happen every day. Dallas has gotten more than that, on the short side of the thing, and had the result been different, you can imagine what the noise would be about. Shut the hell up, nobody cares, no excuses, y'all lost. That's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at with this. There were plays in that game that, matter of fact, right before that play, and I'd like to say, we'll unpack it here in a minute, just as critical, that were missed calls. One of them pertained to Dallas on the tripping call. That's a call that took Dallas out of a terrific chance to ice that game with a late TD after the second golf pick. So Detroit had their chances, even after, whatever you want to but name the call, which I've read everything I could possibly read on the call. I'm sure Joe will probably expand a little bit more, but man, from what I understand, even with the two guys that could report, according to what I saw from Kurt Warner, from the referee, the analyst they had on ESPN with Van Pelt, who to his disappointment didn't agree with his impassioned take. Even with those two guys reporting, if they did report, the fact that the guy wasn't covered where he lined up still made it an illegal touch. Be that as it may, they had chances beyond that to win the game, just like Dallas did in Philly, and many other instances that we can name. So guess what, y'all? I don't care. You had chances. How about like kicking the extra point? How's that being swept under the rug? So they had so many chances to Detroit did to win the game going for 2 or to extend it into overtime. They didn't get it done. That is the bottom line. On we go.
Yeah, and JC, before you go, I want to address Sebastian. Shout out to Sebastian, man. H-Town, homie of mine. He said, "No trust in Dak." I don't quite agree. I mean, 4th and 6, kick the ball. Yeah, just kick the ball, and that's the safe right play. If you ran the damn ball 3 times, you gave the ball with a minute left with the same 7-point lead, and then with no timeouts, like what the fuck?
We'll get to that in a minute. I got a whole bunch of heat for that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got a bunch of heat for that. Go ahead, Joe.
I'll take that. So, to your point, who cared last week when they showed plenty of evidence that Michael Parsons getting held the whole game by the Dolphins offensive line, right? Who was in there advocating that they should have reviewed the tape? Oh, that's because it's excessive. It really was. But do you see anybody? Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some Cowboy fans complaining about it. But I mean, none of us, we didn't like, all right, I mean, listen, holding the part of the game, shit. If you were a generational pass rusher like that, I mean, shit, they got to do something to referees.
Man, I'm gonna tap something right there, Clip, before Joey goes off. Man, the last thing I forgot to say on my deal, and you brought this up, that point you made about the Miami game, guess what Dallas should have done? Don't fumble on 1st and goal. When you have chances, don't give the refs the opportunity to do that. That's all I've got for you. Take care of your opportunities when they come so that it doesn't come down to that. Lord knows we as Dallas fans have seen that not only this year, but multiple times in the MacArthur area, hell, multiple times in the Jason Garrett era. Don't leave it to chance. When you have the opportunities early in the game, I can go all the way back for years. When you have the opportunity to not leave it in the ref's hands, take advantage of those opportunities so it doesn't come down to that. And with that, Joe.
JC, you got it, man.
Man, it seems like those fumbles at the 1 and out of the end zone, it seems like they always come in close games. And they're always huge.
Massive.
You're getting ready to score, and then you don't. And you don't get anything. Those always seem to be huge. And I will say this in regards to, last night's game. I have zero complaints with the coaching decisions, that were made. I've been, pretty hard on McChubb Rock, and I just want to be even and fair here and say that I thought that they did a good job last night, coaching all the way around. This is the situation with the lineman checking in. It's like, you hear him talk about it, and that lineman is kind of walking a fine line. He wants to report to the ref, but he doesn't want to be overly demonstrative in doing so. Right. So he can kind of shroud the secrecy. Now, the ref is going to tell the defense, hey, so-and-so is eligible. But yet still, the linemen sometimes kind of try to blow it past them, right? And you have to get that confirmation. It's like I talked about when the Cowboys were in that jumbo package and 71 didn't report, and, it was a penalty on them. These are the things that we talk about. When you talk about these little tiny things and about everything affecting everything, obviously that was huge last night.
Absolutely.
You go back to the Miami game, and again, you see these things time and time again. The Miami game, they had a punt bounce at their 13 and get downed at the 2. Positively no excuse for that. That is a special teams gaff, big time. Why?
Dude.
You stand at the 10. I've done this. I've told guys, hey, field this punt. Whatever you do, field this punt. Your punt returner stands at the 10. If he has to back up more than a few steps, he lets it go over his head, play the percentages. But if he has to move up or stays put, you field that punt. That's what the fair catch is for. You don't field it. 2-yard line. They end up punting from right around the 2. Miami kicks a 54-yard field goal. Okay. Now, and Anger got that bitch up. He nailed a 55-yard net punt off of one step.
Yeah.
You got to one-step those punts. Yep. Right? He hit a 71-yarder earlier off of 2 steps. So let's just imagine that Turpin fields that punt at the 13, and they're punting from the 13 to the 15. He's not against the end line. He's getting 2 steps. Just the 10 yards alone. They weren't going to try a 64-yard field goal in the rain. Everything affects everything. They get 3 points out of that, which you get from the field position game, which you get from putting the foot in football. And they lose that game by how many? Rhetorical question. They lost it by 2. Now, again, in all fairness, last night I thought they did the right thing pretty much all the way around. You play the game that's on the field, man. You don't get stupid and go for it. Now, I understand why Campbell was going for it when he was on a lot of levels. Okay. Yeah. Your odds in getting the 1 seed are pretty rare.
No doubt.
May as well swing for the fences.
No doubt.
And also, to take a page out of the Harbaugh book, look, we got 17 of these some bitches as it is. I ain't trying to play no extra game. Right? I'm not trying to play overtime. Right. I ain't trying to get in 20, 30 more plays for my football team. All right? Let's decide this some bitch now.
Yeah.
Forget all that free football, all that extra football that we don't get paid for and risk injury on. And so I totally get that, you know, and I love the culture of what Campbell is doing there. Oh, yeah. Again, a little bit of it, I guess I would say overall, I kind of expected them to go 13-4. I expected them to split one of the Miami Buffalo setup and end up 13-4. A little bit disappointing, you know, and let's take it back. If you guys remember with Garrett, man, the Cowboys were a hellacious road team with Garrett. They were one of the best with Garrett. They were one of the best road teams.
That's a fact.
In NFL. It was the Patriots and them that were like the 2 best road teams.
Yeah, amazingly enough. Yeah, and they couldn't win at home.
So they get the 1 seed a couple times when it don't matter.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Now, all of a sudden, they're awesome at home, right? And they're not going to get the 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? It's always something which leads me back to ownership. That's what it always comes back to for me. You can't get a control freak in here as a coach that will watch all the little things and give you the best advantage. We were having a discussion about it before I throw it back to you guys. We were talking about, okay, there's always this impending doom, you know, sword of Damocles hanging over the Cowboy coach if he can't get it done. In this case, it's McCarthy, right? And we were saying, well, you know, who would you like? You know, Jim Harbaugh, you know, who would you like? You know, McVay. I've been big on McVay. I would love Dan Campbell. Yeah. And DB, you said that, you know, Campbell's locked down in Detroit. Well, this is where we're at with the mentality of the whole thing right here. That sums it up, because I thought that too. We are the Cowboys, man. You ought to be able to have any fucking coach you want. Any coach you want. I don't want to hear shit. We're going to get Andy Reid right now. But no, see, that's off the table. That's off the table because certain coaches ain't going to come here. Would the Yankees let something stop them from getting a good manager? Did the Lake Show balk at giving Phil Jackson his money?
The second time, kind of, sort of. But yeah.
We're one of these elite franchises, but for whatever reason, you would think an elite franchise would have the best of everything. Nah, we're restricted from getting the best possible coaches. I'm sorry, but I will say this. They did do a good job last night, but we look at pervasive factors and long-term cause and effect here with the Cowboys. That's always kind of how we look at it. And again, It's not over yet. Got to fix that defense. But here we are again. And like they say in Tennessee, we finna see, man. We're getting ready to see. Finna see.
Well said, man. And so as we kind of shift from, again, the elephant in the room and talk about some of the performances of individuals, I got to ask a few questions, man, of some of our mainstays. I want to get you guys' opinions about how they performed last night. I guess we'll start off with QB1 with Dak Prescott. Thoughts, concerns, overall takes of Dak's performance last night.
Some
Thought Dak was solid. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
Few P&Ms. Plays not made. And sometimes those are just as bad as turnovers. But all in all, man, solid. All in all, solid performance. Everybody kind of did what they needed to do. I give Dak a B- in that, just for the one interception. Give him a B-, which is good enough to win.
You know what, man? I did not see. I still hadn't seen the pick. I stepped away.
Me too. I looked down and
I stepped away. I was actually having an issue with the TV or whatever, man. And we're working through that, and then I see when I get back to it, I look at my phone and I see the notification, and I'm like, that's three for 5 with a pick. When he throw an interception? Because I actually got the issue resolved right when the the big CD Lamb touchdown went down. I was like, damn, 92-yard touchdown. Like, what the hell happened there? And then, like, right after that, it popped on. I still haven't seen the pick, so I don't the context of bad throw, tip, whatever the case may have been. What I did see, I would have given Dak a B. I thought overall Dak played really solid, given the heat he was under, which was kind of alarming. Aiden Hutchinson was beastly last night. He worked over both tackles, man, including Tyron, which I know Tyron's probably not 100%, but still in all, he gave Tyron the biggest work, I think, of any one rusher this year. And on that one, which I thought was a crushing sack against Terrence Steele, man, that spin move he gave Steele was highlight reel worthy. But they couldn't really establish the run. So for what Dak was asked to do, because they couldn't really get anything consistently good going in the running game, I thought Dak was really good. Given the pressure he was under, given the fact that they did not have a run game to speak of with any consistency. And I thought he was pretty good, man. His numbers were, I didn't realize his numbers were as nuts as they were, but 345, 2 tubs and the 1 pick. But so going into the last game, he's at 32 tubs, 4,200 yards, 8 picks. If you told me going into this, this deal, given with what the concern was with him coming into this year, if you told me we're going into game 17 with that, I'd have taken it 10 times out of 9. 100%. To quote the great Andre 3000, by the way.
10 times out of 9, man.
10 times out of 9.
Those some damn good odds right there.
I'd taken that, man. I'd have taken that. And just like, and before you go off, Cliff, which I thought was funny when everybody was talking about, oh, man, Dak throws all these picks. No, he doesn't, because the year previous, before the 15 interception deal, and however many games, man, Dak threw for what, 4,700 yards, 37 touchdowns and 10 picks. If I tell you that's what you're getting at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season, your quarterback is going to throw for 4,500 plus yards, 37 touchdowns against 10 picks, you're going to take that. And guess what?
Oh, yes, sir. You are.
You're going to pay him. So that's what's so fun to me with this dude, man. It's like he kind of reverted back to what he's been,
right?
Which was really good. So, I mean, it's just what it is. What's up between the game, man? Better late than never. Happy New Year, bro.
Yes, sir, man. Shout out to my guy Between Game Sports. Yeah, man. Listen, man. Dak is like the most, I would say, misassessed player probably in the NFL. Because people hold on to old storylines from Dak and not even like storylines that even define who he is as a quarterback, and they just run with it. Most recently, I would say Cam Newton, talking about him being a game manager. I think, listen, the better part of the first 4 years or so, that was a very accurate assessment of what Dak Prescott was. In case you ain't been watching, in the last 3 to 4 years, like Dak has stepped up and been a tremendous line manager, for one. Like, going through his checks.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I'm not going to say Peyton Manning, equivalent, but Peyton Manning-esque. Like, checking
a lot of control at the line.
Man, like 32, you're good. Blah, blah, blah. All right, here we go. And for those who just watch football casually, there's not a lot of carte blanche a lot of quarterbacks get to do.
That's true. That's a great point.
And I know it goes, unsung because, people just don't care about stuff like that. So game managers don't get that type of leeway.
That's an excellent point. That's a great point. I ain't thought about that. That's a terrific point. And Aaron Rodgers, arrogant ass Aaron Rodgers is lauding Dak Prescott for exactly what you're talking about, bro. Think about that. Don't listen to us. Don't even listen to the blowhards on TV. Aaron Rodgers is sitting up giving, unsolicited, mind you, is sitting up giving Dak Prescott praise for the exact thing you're talking about.
Boy, but Rodgers is gonna make a mint in the booth. When he gets in the booth, he's gonna make a fortune.
Yeah, I thought that was mind. That's
guy,
like Kobe
he's a really bright guy.
He is. Yeah, he's very erudite. And so, so when people talk about Dak, it's always, I think Dante nailed it. His playoff results is how he's judged. So people judge the sum. So it's like, oh, well, the Cowboys ain't win. Oh, well, I was right about the Cowboys. That's how people judge the Cowboys in general. It's like, okay, well, we didn't win the Super Bowl. I told y'all. So, okay, so you picked the field of 31 over the 1, and now you're a genius. All right, congratulations. Right. Congratulations on your assessment, right? So with Dak, it's like, the first peg on him was being a game manager. Again, I'm not going to refute that. But he's evolved as a quarterback so much since then. And not only his line checks, watching him assess and readjust and now use his damn wheels. See, last year the problem was he didn't trust his wheels. This year he uses them shits and he extend plays for better or for worse. He loves to throw high. He loves to throw high to his goddamn tight ends. That's Dak's thing. He's never going to shake that. It is what it is. But he makes shit happen. That CeeDee Lamb play that bust the game open
was all him.
That was Dak.
That was all him.
For y'all watching, that was Dak.
Oh, him.
Because they're supposed to be a safety, right? So to pawn off that he's just this limited quarterback, you're not paying attention. You're not watching. Now, does he do a lot of frustrating things? Yeah, last year being an example, like there's an anomaly. All them goddamn interceptions, that's an anomaly. But he did it one time, so now like, oh well, Dak turned the ball over. No, he doesn't.
No, he does not.
1 year turned the ball over. Or another trope. Or Dak benefits from a great old line. No, he doesn't. Y'all remember 3 years ago, 6 sacks in Atlanta that year? When we first got Amari Cooper, maybe it was 4 years ago. O-line was terrible that year. That's when we had Connor McGovern and Connor Williams out of UT. He was too small to be playing tackle, but we had him out there anyway. And, Tyron, 4 games a year, Smith doing Tyron Smith things. Dak had a horrible O-line, but no, it's off the reputation though. I think Travis Frederick had just retired too.
Yeah, from the unforeseen illness. Exactly right. And matter of fact, when he got diagnosed, it's a great point you bring it up. When he got diagnosed, if you remember, it seemed like for whatever reason, the whole O-line that particular year went into a tailspin. Like the ones that were there. Like once he was gone and couldn't go, as great as he was, everything went to tailspins. And Dak still ended up having a pretty solid year given with what he is dealing with. Yeah.
Right. So my whole point is people misassess Dak a lot. So last night, I say all that to say this. I thought he played a damn good football game. The turnover, be damned. Now I know what people want. People want Dak to kind of have that Mahomes in him, that Aaron Rodgers in him. Whereas like the chips are down, it doesn't matter. I'm going to lead them to the drive because I got to say, the thing that separates Dak from people like that is when we lost to them in the playoffs, Dak's rookie year. We scored that touchdown too early. I was like, oh, shit. Number 12 got way too much goddamn time. And they came and marched the field. Oh, but they had that knee grab on the side, field goal ball game.
To which they got a call that was not called, and nobody gave a shit. To circle back to this point.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the holding call that should have happened that allowed Rodgers to make that throw, the throw doesn't happen. But but guess what? Nobody gives a shit because that was a blatant miscall. I still have the picture. Some bitch is literally piggybacking on
Bakhtiari on Irving's back, like a backpack.
David Irving, exactly right.
On his back.
And the white cap is standing right in front of it. But nobody cares.
Right?
There you go.
Referee back there chilling.
I still have the picture. So it circles back to what we started the show with. I don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
I don't want to hear it. Plays that work against you happen.
Nothing to see here. Right?
That's overall my point. Nobody cares about the details.
Nobody cares.
No one cares, man. For real, they don't.
It's revisionist history. Like, okay, well Dak ain't he win it. Well, Dak scored a touchdown to go up. And Aaron Rodgers just had too much time. Call it what you want to call it. He had too much time, and they won the game. Dak played his ass off that game after having a very slow start, let me say.
Yes, he did.
To come back and play how he played, Dak played his ass off, but nobody gives him credit for that. So going forward, today is the last. So it's one of his first games he played. Well, not just one of his first, but first year, but like most recent memory, let me put it that way, to where he is right now as a quarterback. So people were critiquing him. And I saw when he threw the interception, people were like, oh, yeah, right on time. Dak doesn't throw interceptions. He doesn't throw interceptions. He may go 3 and out all goddamn game long. He don't throw interceptions, right? So overarchingly speaking, I give Dak about a B. Yeah, give him a B.
That's exactly what I gave him.
B. He played well. Like, and I've even as a fan, I've had to learn to grade Dak appropriately. Like, just don't expect him to be Aaron Rodgers. Don't expect him to be Pat Mahomes. He'll never be that guy. But what he ain't gonna be is no damn Kirk Cousins. What he's not gonna be is no goddamn not Sheldon brother. I know he retired this year. Teddy Bridgewater. Like, that's how bad your quarterback play can be. Dak ain't that, right?
No.
He's not a bridge quarterback. He's an actual franchise quarterback. He's just not an elite level arm talent that just throws you've never seen before and things of that nature. Joe Burrows of the world and shit like that. No, he's not.
Hold on. How about Jared Goff? He didn't have Jared Goff's arm. If we're gonna talk about arm talent, man, Jared Goff can spin it. Now,
man, he threw a dime, boy, to Jameson Williams, man. And
Jared Goff can spin the football. So it's not going to be this aesthetic masterpiece. Bingo. It's not going to be this aesthetic masterpiece. But Cliff, you said it perfectly. He gets shit done. Like you said, that scramble play. And before we shift to your next one, man, what Dak does, and I saw this in Dak even at Mississippi State, man, and I saw it again last night. The drives that he's had to make, like the, quote unquote, the answer drives, Dak finds it, man. He finds it way more than not. When they answer the one drive, he marches them right in the second half. Marches right down the field. What? How many plays is that? 15 plays, maybe? Takes them right down the field. They've got to go down there and no, I tell you, when they go up, he takes them right down the field. It's like, man, this is fourth quarter. This is the drive that they've got to do something, and then he makes it happen. So, and he's done that all year, man. So it's a trip how this dude is like you said, man, is miscast inappropriately a lot of times. I will take Dak Prescott over 2/3 of the starting quarterbacks in the league, and guess what? I will win with that. Absolutely. I will win with that because it's just so hard to find. It's so hard to find decent. Dak Prescott is good.
It's hard to find decent.
It's even harder to find good, and Dak Prescott is good. So let's please stop the cap.
Absolutely. So let's move on with the player assessments, and I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna let y'all ride on this one.
All right.
Pause. Mr. the man of the night, Mr. Sedarius, aka CD Lamb.
A-.
I'll let y'all trumpet the bits. Y'all got it.
A-. I got an A- because of the fumble Other than that, I
Fair.
mean, you can't complain. I mean, listen,
Fair.
I love Sedarius, love him. There are times I think that we can see every now and then he gets a little too cool for school, but when you're Sedarius, you're gonna kind of be that guy. You know what I mean? Like just like the aura that he kicks off. You know what I'm saying? Like he is that dude. He's like, I just come to the game and I'm just cold, man. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just cold.
I mean, it's really nothing you can do, man. But like, you got to throw it to me because I can't do nothing without it in my hands. You know, he's just like he's that dude, man, and he is elite. And I do have him first team All Pro. And that kid with the Lions, St. Brown, he's a baller too, man. I'm 100%. He's this is a guy that's overlooked as well. With Lamb, he's starting to do everything that you need done, and they're getting it to him in a lot of different ways, and it's starting to get to the point to whereas he can't be silenced or taken out of games because they're using him as a down in, down out pass threat. Those slants, inside releases. We all know he's a crossing pattern guy. It sets up his up top stuff. He's really good at hookups. Okay, we all know that. All right, he's really good at corner routes from the slot, West Coast staple. But now they're starting to just, like the Cowboys back in the day with Michael Irvin, the other teams say, man, we knew it was coming. We just couldn't do anything with it. He's starting to drop back and go to Sedarius for 4-yard outs, 8-yard ins, 10-yard hookups. He's throwing it to him in every single kind of way, looking for him on third down, looking for him on first down.
When you need a play,
goes to the play calling, and that they're getting him the football with those end of rounds, and those jet sweeps,
all of it. Yep.
I love it, and he's involved, and he's showing himself to be up to the task. His progression has been fantastic.
Yeah,
better and better and better, and to now, here we are. He's elite. He's elite, man. He broke Irvin's records basically in 16 games.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us not forget that. And Irvin, we all know what kind of ball player Michael Irvin was. Okay.
No
Seriously,
question.
we all know what kind of ball player he was. And Lamb is right now, it's got to be him and Tyreek Hill, man, first team All Pro.
No doubt. What
Like I said, I like what Allen is doing with the Chargers. I like what Brown is doing. I also like what St. Brown is doing. Amon-Ra up there in Detroit.
Bad boy.
He's a baller. That kid can play, man.
Yeah.
I like that, but I think right now I would say, DB, your 2 All-Pro guys are Tyreek Hill and Sedarius Lamb.
You'll get no argument here, man. And I like it. I love your assessment. I too, the A- is perfect. The only complaint, and it took points off the board, so you have to detract from that. But that's it, man. But man, to watch this, you touched on a couple things, man. I thought were just right on point. To watch CeeDee Lamb's progression, particularly when he came here, when you had a stud in Amari Cooper, right? Who himself, despite injuries and all, I just happened to see it this morning, is having another stud year in Cleveland, right? Despite the injuries. I mean, he's like at almost 1,300 yards, a lot of TDs, whatever. But when he got here, you had a stud in Amari Cooper. And the question was, because you stole him in the draft. I mean, he came, it's amazing. And when you look at, you talk about his progression, he came to Dallas, it was a gift. Because nobody in that room thought he would fall to 17 to Dallas, right? And it's like, wait a minute. Because he wasn't even in the discussions. And I watch every draft show there is. It's like, well, we'll look at this guy, we'll look at this guy, we'll look at this pass rusher, what have you. And then he keeps falling down the board. It's like, wait a minute. CeeDee Lamb is going to be at 17? Like, you can't not take him. And thank God they did that.
It was a dream scenario.
Right. Because now look at it. And even when you let Amari go because of the contractual piece, the question was still legitimate. Could he be that guy? You could see the potential, right? You could see the physical ability. He could catch the ball. He's terrific after the catch, all those things. But could he put it together with other teams' game planning for him to be, the chief option in the passing attack for the Cowboys? And he has answered all of those questions and pass that test with flying colors. And you use the word properly, Joey. He's elite. He's not good. He's not very good. There's no longer potential. There's none of that. The man has arrived. He's arrived. He
That's
is
strength.
that guy. He
He's
is now
sneaky
legitimately
Sneaky
a top.
strong, sneaky tough.
But sneaky strong is right, man, because he'll take some shots and he'll pop right back up and he'll do his
He's
little
still
deal,
getting
whatever.
forward lean.
Yeah.
I see why they put him at tailback. He runs with
he
forward
runs.
lean,
Yes,
and
he
his spin move is devastating.
Yeah. So
he is
I mean,
ridiculous.
it's been amazing for him to be to answer the question that was legitimate, and I think so. But can he be that guy to absolutely man, hurry up and sign that son of a bitch because he's it. He's your franchise, one lead receiver for the next however long they signed it to that contract because he's earned it. He's absolutely done it on the field. And I will give McCarthy, whom I know you and I will rail on here later in the show, but I will give McCarthy this, because he is the play caller. How he two things I'll give McCarthy credit for. We're hard, but we're fair on this show. Pause. After the San Francisco debacle, CD was very public and man, look. And even then, he was kind of classy about it. Give me the ball. I'm a playmaker. The games should not come and go where I touch the ball 3 or 4 times. If you put the ball in my hands, I'm going to give us a much better chance to win. And from that game to right now has been lights out. So they listened to the guy. I have to give McCarthy credit for that. And then even in listening to him, it wasn't just, seam routes and 9 routes and what have you. Like you alluded to, Joe, the diversity and the creativity with how they're getting the ball in his hands, understanding that, this guy can catch the ball, but when that ball is in his hands, he's something special. He's a playmaker. Like you said, runs with lean, runs like a tough running back or what have you. So let's find a way to get him the ball on jet sweeps. Let's get him on those underneath crosses. Whatever the case may be, get the ball in 88's hands because 9.5 times out of 10, something really good happens. He moves. He extends possessions. He makes the huge wow play like last night. He extends plays on the must-have third down conversion. He does that, a la the second Hall of Fame 88 that we had. You know what I mean? It's like he's living up to the mystique that 88 has been around here. And here's the beautiful part, man. The kid is 24 years old. Man, get that dude under contract and get him going. He's that right kind of guy. He's that team guy. He's that right kind of guy. He always shouts out his guys. He always shouts out the quarterback. He shouts out, the entire team, gives love to the defense. I mean, he's just one of those guys you want to have in your locker room, and you damn sure want to have him on the field. CeeDee Lamb is that dude, 100%.
And for them, what I like is we got a clear pecking order, all right? Clear pecking order. Offense, first option, CD.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third, you can switch these two back and forth. That's going to be Ferguson and Cooks. All right. And then kind of that fourth option is going to be Pollard. Right. That's your offense. You're going to have to throw the ball on first down a little bit more. All right. Throw to set up the run. You can't give up. You can't get away from the run completely. You still got to be able to run it.
Correct.
I think the thing that I've noticed is that they get into a poor rhythm if they run on first down and don't get what they like. More often than not, when they pass on first down, they could get 6 to 7.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you come back and you run it on second down. This is what a true West Coast offense does. They pass to set up the run.
Yeah. Okay. I like that screen game on first down, tight end or running back, to your point, to open things up. You're going to need second and 4, second and 5. Yeah. I like that.
You're going to need to be able to run it a little bit.
Yeah.
Might not be a lot, but you're going to have to be able to run it a little bit. And I understand they were shorthanded last night at the running back position. I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. That situation's going to improve. I don't think Dowdell is gone for the year.
Well, they missed him last night.
Yeah, they did. And look, he'll be back. And they're going to have a real kind of indication of, just how quickly they need to, quote unquote, get him back. basically they're watching what Philadelphia does. I believe that game against the Redskins is an early game, so they're just going to have to play it to win. They don't know. My instincts tell me that Philadelphia is not playing very well right now, but yet still, it kind of fell really good for them, man, getting those first 2 games of that giant Phoenix sandwich, that giant Arizona sandwich. They got them at home because I think the most difficult game for them to win would be at the Giants, who are still playing hard. Yeah. They're still playing hard. Daboll's still coaching his ass off. They're still trying to win. They still got my man Tyrod there, who has been jerked around more than any quarterback in the NFL ever in the history of ever. We're not going to even go into it, but here's a guy with something to play for. Here's Tommy Cutlets, Tommy DeVito, a guy with something to play for. Here's Daboll, something to coach for. Here's Saquon, something to run for. Okay, this is the NFL. They're not going to roll over. No. And my instincts tell me that game is our only real hope, because I just don't see Arizona going up there and winning. But Philadelphia is playing not very well right now. They look eminently beatable. Okay, and so the way this thing looks
like that all year about them, man. And they've shown that, Joe. I mean, it kind of bit them in the ass here towards the end. But when they had, they were up, 10-1 or what have you, and they, and I gave we did this on this show, man. We gave them credit for, being good enough to win those games. Because you got to stack wins. I don't give a damn how you get them. You got to stack wins to get to this point in the season. But, in common opponents, right? And I'm the division and even otherwise, man, Philly struggled to win a lot of games against quote unquote lesser teams. That was funny in that Cowboys kind of got chided for beating the shit out of, right? I mean, not only did you struggle against the Jets, you lost. You struggled to beat the Commanders, right? You struggled to beat the Giants.
The Commanders could have got their ass.
Right.
The Giants could have too.
Struggled mightily to beat the Commanders. You struggled to beat the Giants, at home. So, and again, common opponents, look at the difference in the results. And again, it's kind of funny that Dallas gets chided for beating, the beat up on these lesser teams. But Philly struggled to beat them. And then, and then we see what happens in the Seattle game, and guess what Dallas didn't do this season and is not going to do. Dallas is not going to lose 3 games in a row.
Well, you needed a Philadelphia loss anyway.
Right.
Even if they would have both finished 13-4, right, the Eagles would have got it based on conference record. You needed a Philadelphia loss anyway.
Right.
So, right. I mean, you always want to win. The Miami loss didn't kill you. It's a non-conference loss. Maybe that thing could swing the other way. The Eagles have nothing but conference games left. They've got 2 of them. Okay, you really want them. If they lose that Giants one, it's a complete wrap.
Yeah,
because that's a division loss, and the first record, the first tiebreaker is division record. Yep. Cowboys 5-1 if they beat the Redskins. The Commanders.
Yep.
Eagles 4-2 if they lose to the Giants. So again, you were pulling for that anyway, and so much can happen. Stuff can change. I will say this: what it looks like to me is San Francisco is the best team in the NFC,
which they've.
And I think Dallas is the second best team. I really believe that. I think they're better than Philadelphia. I think they're better than Detroit, based on what's happened lately and overall roster. I think Detroit's probably a year away, and I think that Philly is not playing as well as they did last year, and the Cowboys are in their window right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, a lot can happen, but I think they're clearly the second best team in the NFC.
I got 2 questions for you as we start to get to the back end of the show, man. That's going to lend itself to this playoff conversation, Joe. 2 quick questions. 1 is a quick hitter. 2, I want to expound on you, and those of you in the chat weigh in on this too. Watching that game last night, and I've kind of felt this, but watching that 60 minutes last night, and you gave that assessment of the teams in the NFC, which I totally agree. San Francisco's consistently been the best team. And if we started the season with that, we ended the season with that. I don't think there's an argument there. I thought Dallas and Philly were right there anyway in the 2 and 3. I gave Philly the edge to begin the season. I don't think that's the case now. But watching that game last night, going into the playoffs, do you like Detroit over Philly right now.
Yeah, slightly, a little bit.
I do too.
Based on the way that they're playing.
Based on exactly right.
They have better continuity.
Hold on, real
They
quick.
feel like they got better continuity.
Before we go there, shout out to No Face, No Case, man. He shared our stream on X.
Oh, appreciate you. No Face.
Love the content for us, world team.
Man, I love that, bro. Appreciate you, man. That's love. Happy New Year to you.
I'm gonna let y'all keep going. So I'm gonna go mobile with it because I got to drive. But yes, man. I mean, it's a good show. It's a good synergy going. We're cooking, so we will keep it going. So I'm just gonna do a little back end stuff. Pause, and then we're gonna get it done.
My man.
Megastar, getting it done. Megastar, yeah.
And so leading into so you know, I'm looking at Detroit and I'm like, man, you know what? I mean, I'm a big Dan Campbell fan, by the way. I got nothing but respect for that dude and how he is completely flipped that culture, which was a really tough gig to go into. And I mean, you could see the buy-in even when they were struggling to get wins before this year, but you could see that they, you know, whatever he was selling, they bought in, and now they're all in. And I agree with you. They're tough now. I think they'll be even tougher next year. After a good draft and maybe a good offseason. But
they finally listen. We know what it's been with them, man. And when Arizona sucked ass all those years, it's two things: O-line and QB.
Yeah,
the Lions finally have a decent O-line.
Yeah,
finally. Yeah. Right, it's actually one of the better ones.
Yeah,
the kid Sewell from out of Oregon, great draft pick. Ragnow has been a Pro Bowler with the Patriots. Very solid up front, man. These guys are. Yeah. That was always the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, with them, right? People forget this with Detroit. Way back in the day, man, in '91, they blew the Cowboys out in the regular season, and they blew them out in the playoffs. A couple of things happened that year. They had an offensive line of Glover at center, all-pro, Lomas Brown, best tackle in Detroit Lion history, okay? They had Utley, the guy who got paralyzed, and they had a guy named Eric Andrelsek from LSU. Like, that line was as good as any line in football. Then what happens? Utley gets paralyzed, okay? Andrelsek, that offseason, okay, is working outside in front of his house and gets hit by an 18-wheeler and dies. He's 26 years old, right? And he owned Russell, Maryland, the times they played him.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they were like, this is going to be a great group. You lose two of those guys, okay? And oddly enough, I don't mean to be macabre here, okay? But within a 2-day span, right, Andrelsek passes away. 2 days later, Jerome Brown dies in a car accident.
Yeah.
And he used to give the Cowboys fits. Now, I'm not saying anything, but I am saying that back on to O-line, all right, they needed to do that. You know, they had Stafford when Stafford was their quarterback, man, they didn't have much of an O-line. All right, now they have an O-line, and they have a commitment to the run game.
Yes, they do.
And they got Dan Campbell. I think they got to feel pretty good about things going forward.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And the going forward part, man, this is exactly where I wanted to move to, bro. The going forward part. So we talked about QB1, solid performance from him last night. The Herculean performance from CeeDee Lamb. Let's talk about what concerns us. You know, you and I and Cliff are going, and even those of you in the chat weigh in on this. Oh, shout out, by the way, before I go off, man, shout out to Scott about they cheating on people. Okay, bro. We already dismissed that nonsense. But you know, do your thing. What concerns us, man. So Mike McCarthy, and we beat this horse all year long, man. Dude, Mike McCarthy scares me. He scares me going into this thing, into the playoffs. And I made a post on my own Facebook page to the Fox. I think it was a Fox feed on. It was a multiple choice thing on what do you think the Cowboys would finish? You know, A in the Super Bowl, B NFC Championship game, C second round exit, D first round exit. And I said, man, if being realistic, if you look at what this thing is and the things that concern you going into the playoffs, it's not talent. For me, it's not. I said C, which was another second round exit, which they've done 5 times since 2014. 5. Okay. And I could see that scenario happening again because of the difficulties they've had on the road, because of the bugaboo that jumps up and bite them, particularly when they're on the road, which is run defense, and an inability to sustain a running attack on the road to help, balance out drives so they're not so Dak and CD dependent, and then they get a little bit predictable. That O line, it's had good stretches, but not consistent enough to where I would call this. I would grade this O line through 16 games as a B minus, right?
Good enough. Good enough.
Good enough. Not great. Not dominant by any stretch, because they've shown a vulnerability, be it injury, whatever the case may have been, or just lack of continuity. They've shown at times a vulnerability, especially in the passing attack. And it's kind of a testament to how good Dak has been, because he's been under heat considerably here in the last 4 to 5 weeks and a couple of games. And giving Dallas, chances to win games, come up with drives that they've had to come up with despite the pressure for most of the game to either put Dallas ahead or in a position to win a football game. So those things going into the playoffs concern me. But the number one thing, man, just despite the on-field stuff that we've been realistic about pretty much all season, is the decision-making from the sideline, man. Dude, Mike McCarthy scares me. Mike McCarthy, my A1C level just goes nuts. Mike McCarthy, my blood pressure goes up 30 points, man, because you're waiting. You're not hoping. You're waiting for him to make that Keystone Cop, Three Stooges ass decision where you're punching you're doing the air punching like Cuba Gooding in Boys in the Hood. You throwing shit around your living room or whatever. You're spilling your drink, your good whiskey that you're sipping on, all this shit, man, because he's like, why? Why would you roll on second down and they have no timeouts? You're trying to ice the game. And he does this consistently. And so now when the pressure is on, do we expect him to not put that up? Do we expect him to not make those decisions?
Probably his worst decision last night. Yep.
More than the talent on the field going into the playoffs. And I truly think that a Mike McCarthy decision will ultimately doom them, as if they fall short. And just like I said in my post, the hope is that the on-field talent that day plays well enough to overcome the deficiencies from the sideline. And Dan Quinn is not involved with that either. Because
he's not immune either.
No, he's kind of stubborn with what he does and what he wants to stick with, and doesn't do the subtleties and in-game adjustments, but not to the degree, enough to concern you, but not to the degree of McCarthy. But the totality of that, like I said in my post, if you take those guys up against a Shanahan, a Dan Campbell, or a Sirianni, who do you like in that matchup?
Not us.
Not us. Matter of fact, I said in my post, advantage them. And that's a concern. Yep. And that, I'm sure we may get to this when we get to the playoffs, but is that going to raise a bigger question about McCarthy's future here? Because like you said accurately, Joe, they're in their window right now.
Yes.
It's not delusional. It's not unrealistic for a Cowboy fan to reasonably want and expect the Cowboys to get to and win the Super Bowl.
Well, let me say this, Darren. See, this is why I'm flummoxed why we didn't go get a cat like Derrick Henry, because the window's right now.
Bro.
Yeah, it's right now, and I gotta say this: I'm glad we got Brandon Cooks, because if you polled me in September, I wanted DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which would have been a better candidate, just being frank. But Brandon Cooks is paying dividends right now.
Huge.
With the ineptitudes of one, Michael Gallup, who, I'm just not a big fan of. Brandon Cooks is becoming that deep threat that he's always been. He's getting comfortable with Dak, and he's getting us there. So great pickup there.
Terrific.
But our power running game is going to be our biggest bugaboo, because effectively speaking, if we had Derrick Henry down there, do you think we'd have been throwing the ball 3 times in the game? Absolutely freaking not.
No. I would have taken my man from LSU that Buffalo picked up.
Lenny.
I'd take Lennox. I'd take
Yeah.
Fournette all day long.
Right. So
would have loved Fournette in this situation.
Right. So it's like, why are we not plunging in all the way? Because this is our window. This is it. Because we're going to have to pay Micah big money. We're going to pay CD big money.
Have
we're
to.
going to pay Dak big money. Like,
Have
so
to.
that causes attrition. So obviously there's certain areas that we just can't pay people. We got to pay Marquise Bell. He's still on that bullshit ass unsigned free agent contract, right? So it's like, yo, like, why are we not going all the way in on this? Like, all the way in. Like, no cap money left. So
right, but look, you may be tempted to dip into some penalty money. I mean, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, man, do what you gotta do.
Do what you have to do. And Ndamukong too.
Hey, kick the tires. See what he still got.
You pull the trigger on Rashawn Evans and you cut him because he got a weed case. Why wouldn't you do that with Ndamukong too? Leonard Fournette.
Well, check it. You brought in Martavius Bryant, who you haven't used yet. Like,
and he's probably not going to see the field.
Right. So kick the tires in Ndamukong, man. Like, cause inside we're a little soft. Maybe he can mentor Mozzie. Like, I mean, shit.
Well, that's everything we're talking about. Running backs, linebackers, offensive line. We're going to have to address that shit in the draft.
Yeah.
Right now, we got what we have now. And again, it just comes back to, like, we were talking about the offensive line. We were talking about Coach McCarthy as well. And it just brings to mind a thought, right, that a lot of times good enough is the enemy of greatness. Are we going to look up?
Preach on that one, bro.
12-5 and are eliminated in the first or second round, and Jerry say, I can't fire him? In that case,
bro.
Good enough would be the enemy of greatness. Say, well, he's 3 straight, 12 wins, playoffs, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they've underachieved over the past 26 years. I don't care. No. I don't care. Sometimes you pay the price of what your franchise has failed to do as a coach who has had 3 straight winning seasons and gone to the playoffs. Good enough being the enemy of greatness. All right. Now, if it's Belichick, if it's Harbaugh or whomever, all right, and I know that that's wishful thinking, all right, this roster is good enough. We have talked about what they do offensively. We've talked about what they do defensively, pressure and turnovers. They have the best kicker in the game right now, all due to Young Ho Koo and to Justin Tucker.
Away.
Their punter is leading the league in net average. I mean, come on, man. Offense rolls, defense holds, special teams play special.
Yeah.
They have the team.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is a series of small adjustments made by a great coach, by a Jimmy, by a Parcells, by a Belichick, by a McVay. Somebody like that makes adjustments, or a culture changer, like the kneecap biting, ostrich egg eating Dan Campbell. Right? Okay?
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, again, we don't really want to get too far into that because he ain't getting fired anytime. We're going to finish the season with McCarthy and with Quinn. And we know this, right? So what I think is distressing most of all is that not only, like, you see coaches that give you something with a play call, with play design, with a challenge, with whatever, right? They give the team something. They add something to the team. Then you have coaches that just don't mess it up.
Go for it on 4th down inside of your 30-yard line.
We would love a coach that just doesn't mess it up, because I think what you get from McCarthy is negative. All right? It's negative. When I think we should not only be getting, we should be getting a positive. A lot of it is just preparation stuff, and we talk about it and we talk about it. All right? And yes, we got to roll with this now going forward. Stars going to have to play like stars, baby. They're going to play like stars. We're going to have people hog out. CD, Micah. We're going to have people hog out and come through like super glue, man. It is possible, but it's not likely. But hey, we're still alive. Still alive and still rolling.
Like I quoted on my post, man. The great Andy Dufresne said it. Hope is a good thing. Maybe the best of things. and a good thing never dies. So man, it's but again, with the totality of I think everything that we're hitting on, and I think the three of us are right on it. And being realistic about what this thing is, even in the optimism, despite what our concerns are, I think we're on it. But Having said that, I will continue to say this till they throw dirt on my box. I would much rather be in this position,
preach,
than not.
preach.
I don't get it, but with all of the but Dallas is
Preach.
short. I know that. And
How would you like to be Carolina right now?
I would
How'd
much.
you like to be DC right now?
Absolutely, I would much rather be in this.
I'll take it.
Than
For
not.
real.
They're not. I would much rather be here than Arizona. I would much rather be here than the New York Giants. I would much rather be here, than name the team that's on the bones of their ass right now.
And all those middling teams, man, they ain't going nowhere. The Green Bays and the Atlantas and the New Orleans and the Tampa Bays, they ain't fucking going nowhere.
Not going anywhere, man. I would much rather be in this conversation than not. So you hope they can put it together, at that right time. And in all honesty, I'm gonna reference my Texas Rangers, Joey and Cliff, because and then again, matter of fact, I think that's an on point comparison because going in, the Rangers pitching, there was like, man, can we get through games? Can we get out of the fifth inning? And then they go in an unprecedented 11-0 on the road,
and the motherfuckers
because of pitching. So
like those dudes had
can happen.
Performances. Like Montgomery had they careered out. If Baldy career, like what did you need in order for them to win? Well, we need these guys to career out. Boom! And you don't see that happen. And they careered out. You don't see cats career out. Shit, Seager careered out.
Right.
So he's putting himself in the GOAT conversation with shortstops. These guys all careered out. And you're like, well, I guess it could happen. You know what? That's what we're looking at. All right. That's
gonna be my motivation, Joey.
D-line get hot.
Is the 23
turnovers?
23 Rangers.
Let's see he start doing his thing. You feel me? Special teams keep playing special. It can.
But you know where it has to come from, though, man. I think the guys like Pollard. You talking about hogging out? It's a great point. But because CD's gonna be CD, right? I mean, don't have to worry about that. You throw the ball to him. CD's gonna do what CD does. I think Micah Parsons is gonna do what he does. I think a guy that we've not mentioned yet, and it's a huge injustice, I think he's going to hog out too because he's done it all year, is DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to do DeMarcus Lawrence.
He's still got a little bit left.
I think those guys you can count on. And I think Dak will do what Dak does. But I'm talking about the Tony Pollards.
Fowler's starting to play good. Starting to play good.
Yeah, I think Fowler needs to step up. Or a guy like Odigi Zua or a Sam Williams. Those guys are going to have to.
Have you said D-Law yet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, D-Law played his ass off last year.
Bro, Warrior.
Has so
fucking
much
Warrior.
It's just like Sam Williams has so much. Another one of these guys has so much talent. He laid a lick on a punt return last night that was like, it sounded like a shot went off. He's 6'5", he's 260, he runs 4.4. I mean, the talent is there. The talent is there.
It was good. It was good to see Donovan Wilson show up last night. I thought Donovan Wilson played one of the better games he played.
You see Jordan Lewis show up.
Yes, Jordan Lewis. I mean, how about that play on the pick?
He was good last night. Hey, Jordan Lewis was good last night.
These are the guys that are going to have to do like what we referenced with the Rangers. These are the guys that are going to have to hog out. These are the guys that are going to have to career, if you will. Now, is it a sound thing to count on that happening? No, it's not. But is there hope that they could?
It still
you
could.
got flashes of it last night. So
it still could.
There's the hope. So in spite of our indifference and misgivings with McCarthy, which are justified, these are the guys on field that we're talking about, these unstuns that are going to have to do their thing. And that's the Cowboys' hope. Because if they can complement the guys that can be counted on, then something special can happen. And that's where I'm at on that.
I want to see Golston and Sam Williams play a lot more. That's what I want to see. I want to see more Sam Williams and more Golston.
Yes.
Out there. I want Dorrance to have a seat. All right. And I want to see more Fowler, more Golston, and more Sam Williams. That's what I want to see out there. All right. You already got Micah backing off and having to play stand-up, which is cool and the right thing to do. And he is helping in the run defense. I get it. I've always been in favor of that. In order to make that work, again, I need to see more Sam Williams. I need to see more Golston.
Yeah.
All right. I need to see more Fowler. That's what needs to happen.
And to continue on in the Ranger analogy, in the Ranger comparison because part of the brilliance, those guys hogged out, but part of the brilliance of that run was Bruce Bochy using those guys in the appropriate situation, like Midas touch. Now, that might be asking a lot of McCarthy and Quinn to use those guys that you just named, like what Bruce Bochy did in the World Series run for the Rangers. But again, it can happen because, I know that was Bruce Bochy's calling card, but, you get in that thing, whatever the synergy, the wand is waved, the magic happens, and off we go. So again, there's hope, not counting on, but there's hope. And again, I'd much rather be in this window conversation, as you alluded to, Joey, than not. And it's gonna be interesting, man. Take care of your business. Finish this thing with don't finish it like you did last year with that debacle in Washington. Finish this thing right. Go on the road and kick a Washington team in the ass like you're supposed to. Like Cliff would say, we should beat their ass.
Beat that ass.
We should beat their ass. Finish on that note to have a good mindset and mind frame going into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So a lot to be done, a lot to finish, a lot to look forward to. And like I said, much rather be in this position than not. And as the great Jimmy Johnson in his acceptance speech said last night, which had every hair, and I don't have many, which had every hair that I have left on my body stand up. Just it was electric, man. When he hit that "How about them Cowboys?" And how poetic was it to have Emmett and Mike and Troy in that scene when he screamed that, and they're the one. I mean, that was nuts. I was like, man, let Jimmy coach the second half. They'd kick their ass. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Skip,
it was awesome.
Skip Bayless and Andy Reid doing that shit with the Chiefs. They've ruined How About Them Cowboys. That's Jimmy.
Yeah,
that's Jimmy's
deal. It was
he said
great,
that shit
man.
in the locker room. I was watching, all right, back in in this 92 season, early 93, and we just lost it. We just lost our shit. And every time I see that of him, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah,
and everybody just loses it. It's one of the greatest sports moments of my fandom of my life, if not the greatest.
Yep.
There you go.
Iconic.
All right, so fellas, as we land the plane on the show, man, so just parting thoughts of what's going forward. I think we kind of have covered that. We got Washington, we should Peter roll them, beat that ass, BTA, hashtag BTA. So just insights, man, of what we see going forward. Man, well, you know what? Damn, y'all kind of covered the insights. So like we gotta go there and just take care of business, man. And so I like the cipher of we've had, because the whole combination of since week one, missed a few weeks, but I mean, now we're here.
Now we're
here,
here, baby.
Time
now we're
for
here.
all the, because you look at the ebb and the flow of the season. At the beginning of the year, Super Bowl favorites. Then we lost to Arizona. Then it's like down the dumps. But then the narrative drove, okay, we can't beat teams with winning records. And that became a thing for a little minute until we started beating teams with winning records. Then it became Dak Prescott being an MVP candidate. And I think that still lingers in the balance. I think it's a three-man race. I think it's him, Purdy, and Lamar Jackson. So we should see how week 18 plays out and how the chips fall as they may. But I think, again, to kind of encapsulate, or crystallize what you guys have said about where we are right now. I'd rather be here than a lot of other people. And by a lot of people, I mean
10 times out of 9, Cliff. 10 times out of 9.
Come on. There's only like 3 teams I can name, maybe 2, who are in a better situation than us. And that just is what it is. So appreciate y'all, gentlemen, for being a part of the show once again. Kind of going, hurry up style the day after the game. But yeah, man. So
what we do.
Any parting words, gentlemen, before we end this episode number 10, I believe, season 3.
Yeah, man. First of all, Happy New Year. Thanks to everybody, man, that's participated in the show, in the chat consistently throughout the years. If you're first timers, appreciate that love too. Tell all your peoples, tell your homeboys, tell your side pieces, tell me the people you don't like. Just tell everybody, man. But appreciate the love there. Appreciate y'all, man. YouTube, Cliff, Joey, was always been, a fun, it's always a fun Sunday, man. Chopping it up with you guys, man, and doing this. And as far as the Cowboys go, hey, man, it's another opportunity. It's a new hope, and we'll see what happens as they close this thing out against the Commanders. The Magic Johnson, owned partially owned Commanders. Go up there, take care of business, and I know we'll get into it in the shows to come. But hey, man, this is the fun part. We in the tournament yet again with a better than decent opportunity to make something magical happen, and I'm just like that hopeless romantic, man. I'm fired up about it. Maybe setting himself up for a heartbreak, but guess what? I'd rather be, like you said, rather be here than not, man. And let's get after it. Let's go for it.
Love it.
Manage your troops. In this last game, play to win, manage your troops, but go ahead and play to win. All right? Let it fall where it may. I'd like to echo the sentiments of the boys. Happy New Year to all of y'all. This is always a blast for me. Doing this is so much fun. Appreciate all the listeners and everybody checking in and just being a part of it. And I want this to take this with you when you leave. All right. You got 2 eyes, 2 ears. Be observant. Okay. You could be replaced in this life, but you can't be duplicated. You got people that care about you. So be safe, be smart. Happy New Year, y'all.
I love it, man. Happy New Year, man. Thank y'all for tuning in every week. We're going to keep it coming next week as always stated. And man, it's just good to talk game, talk about the Cowboys, and enjoy, bantering good, bad, or indifferent about what we see every week. So thank y'all for being a part of this. And before we go, we got to give shout out to our sponsor, Machismo TV, before we peace out. And tomorrow, it's Sunday. Tonight, I'll probably be on there doing a sports wrap-up. So y'all mosey on over there around 8 p.m., 10 p.m. Central Time. So I'll talk to y'all soon. And till next year.
Till next year, man.
See you on the flip side.
Room temperature, no cut, no ice.
Let's get it, man.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.